Well, Nord, I made it, despite your directions.
SPNATI host SPNANON, welcome. I hope you're ready for an unforgettable podcast. Oh ye gods, my rose is ruined. But what if I were to make an Easter alt and disguise it as what I've been cooking? Oh, delightfully devilish, SeyNord. Spnanonintendent, I was just stretching my lips on the microphone. Isotonic exercise. Care to join me?
Why is there smoke coming out of your waifu, Nord?
Ooh, that isn't smoke. It's steam. Steam from the steamed Huns we're having. Steamed Huns. Ooh.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to an unforgettable podcast, indeed, an unforgettable luncheon. It's after lunch for me. It's way after lunch for Nord. I am SPNanonintendent Chalmers, your host. This is episode 87 of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. And of course, I am here with me with my guest host, the host of the luncheon, Mr. SeyNord Skinner himself.
Hello? Yes.
Please, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Nord. I've done many things for this game. The grind never stops. Got some things cooking as always. As we're recording this, I'm looking forward to cracking open my chocolate egg. Easter Sunday.
That's right, we're recording just before an early Easter. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we cover the actual Easter event. We have here also with us a returning guest. I believe he was here last time around the beginning of last year. I think it was like episode 70 and 71. It's Horsecat, also known as an actual artist, responsible for many popular characters in SPNATI. You can go ahead and introduce exactly who those are for the unfamiliar. You've been working on this game longer than either of us.
Yes, you could say that. I've been working on Twilight. I adopted Rarity. I did Pinkie Pie. I did Rainbow Dash. I also helped with the posing on and model on Fluttershy. No, actually, I believe I only did the model on Fluttershy. The posing was his proper owner. I also did the Puyo Puyo characters, which are Ringo and Earl. Ringo is one that we'll be talking a little bit later, something that got added to her recently. And as for Earl, well, I'm also cooking some stuff that I believe by the time this podcast comes out, we will already have passed the April Fool's event. And hopefully, if I manage to finish it in time, you will see what I have been doing.
We're looking forward to it. You always put out good stuff, and I believe it's mostly in the next episode that we'll be able to talk about what you've most recently worked on. But for now, speaking of kind of events running together and being a little off schedule and offset as we usually are, it says here to shill the feedback poll on the agenda. By the time this episode comes out, it will long have been over. I've been shilling the general feedback poll where you can leave anonymous responses about the game in general for the last couple episodes. But this is, when we're recording, it's a day before it will end, because it's going to end right alongside the month of March and basically when the Easter event ends. So I will have posted a full results spreadsheet and given a couple of my thoughts myself. So Solitaire, if you could put the link for that results post that I will inevitably make in the description, that would be nice. Unless I die, you never know. In that case, the world will never know. You'll just have to guess what everybody said. There are other polls as well. There's I'm not sure if Arndress is still kind of actively promoting his source familiarity feedback poll. But you might as well throw that link in as well. I don't think it's closed for responses yet. There's some other polls floating around as well, but those are the two main ones. Nord, Horsecat, do you have anything else to say on the polls now that they're coming to a close? Did you respond to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the feedback poll as soon as it came out. I did my thing, and I've been watching the results. It'll honestly, I cannot be watching every single thing, so I'm mainly just opening the search bar and just seeing what people say about my own characters. But that's still something.
I understand.
And same for the familiarity post. I answered it early on, and honestly, I'm surprised to see more people know about Puyo than I expected.
I think people are kind of like vaguely aware of Puyo, at least. It is a kind of a big series, at least in Japan.
Yeah, but not on this side of the world, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Cute girls, though.
Yes.
Nor did you have any comments on the
glancing
poll?
through the source familiarity poll yet again, I think it's a plus anima sweep for I have never watched the entire thing and or completed it.
Oh, we're actually going to get to Rose from Plus Anima this time. Your Rose has been ruined. She was in the
I
oven
was
for too
surprised
long.
at how many people haven't seen or like have no knowledge at all of things like Arakawa Under the Bridge or anything like that.
I didn't know about it.
I mean,
If it wasn't for SPNATI, I would.
I've seen bits of it floating around. And then, of course, you have ones that like most people in the server have seen, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where over 50% of people have seen it to completion.
Somehow I just completely missed that boat as a kid.
And then I just glanced in the general feedback poll, and under the what's an overrepresented sexual archetype, and someone has just put foot. It's not even my thing, but that is like foot. No, that is not overrepresented.
Maybe they just want people to leave their socks on.
Wait, but isn't that part of the thing? Like, I've left my socks on all day.
That's a thing that was at least a trend for a little while, is characters leaving their stockings until last.
That's
Aqua
true.
does that.
And Aqua does do that.
Yeah, speaking of the general feedback poll and the results, like one of the problems is that the way Google Forms works, like after like 100 responses, it starts like hiding the new ones. So past that point, people can't really keep up with the responses until I post the full spreadsheet, unlike the character feedback poll where it's more spread out and it's kind of unlikely for any one character to get more than 100 responses. So yeah, I'll share it all soon. You can put that in the description. We also have the host Shilling corner this time, where we talk about what we've each been cooking. This is mostly a chance for me to talk about Meia and Jura, because I do work on them all the time, but they're not new characters, so they're not on the agenda, unlike Nord, as Solitaire called me out for.
Scale issue, to be honest.
I'm not I ain't slick, okay? I don't get nothing past nobody. That's why I'm a very honest person.
Make the elusive third Vandred character. You have enough models to pick and choose from now. I
did. She exists. She's called Barnett Orangello.
He has enough models to make his own Bandred edition SPNATI.
There's also Puro. Anyway, the main thing I alluded to last time, what I was working on then is something that's now been published, is Meia getting some new underwear. This has nothing to do with Underwear Gate or anything like that. Nobody really seems miffed with her whole like underwear strip sequence, putting on underwear halfway through. It seems that's most the storm has passed on that one. At least no one comments on it anymore. That's not what this is about. This is just changing the nature of the underwear that she has on herself or itself. It used to be the same like sports bra, the same detailing and everything, but it was the default Kisuke boy shorts, just with a little extra detailing on top of it. I changed that. So first off, it's now an exercise thong on bottom, a little bit more high-waisted, with a little extra like shading and lining there. And I also changed both pieces of it to be the sort of blue and white color scheme. It's sort of like a baseball look. It's mostly white, but with dark blue lining. So there's a couple reasons for this change. One is that I used to write Meia as kind of kind of like frumpier almost and like prudish, and she's really not like that at all. I think she would be more aware of her own sex appeal and be a little more proud of it. There's really like there's a little bit supporting that prior characterization, but it's a big reach in my opinion. So it was like, why go in that direction for a porn game instead of having her be more into it and more proud of herself? So there's that. I think the baseball sort of motif, that color scheme, it conveys a sort of sense of athleticism. I think she would wear something a little more provocative, like an exercise thong. That's probably what they'd have lying around anyway for her to wear. And I think the blue and white just looks nice on her. Like the old underwear was like literally the exact same RGB hex code hue as her hair, which I just sort of did on a whim because it was my first model ever. But now I have a little bit a better understanding of color theory because it's kind of goofy to make it the exact same fucking thing. Blue and white is good for her in general. There are alt outfits that I have planned that kind of go more in either direction, her wearing white or her wearing a dark sort of navy blue. So you will see that, and this kind of combines the two. It's just really nice. Yeah, it didn't take that long, but I did take the opportunity to improve like the art on some of her stripping poses as well. It's not something you really needed to play a game with her to see, but what do you think of it?
I think
nothing mechanically has changed. I want to throw that out there. It's just the look is different, and I changed lines referencing like boy shorts to thong and that kind of thing.
Wait, did she used to say boy shorts?
She used to say shorts.
Okay, I was gonna question you on that one. Like boy shorts in an all-female society?
Yeah. But what do you think? Like, does it look nice? Does it look sexier?
It looks nice. Me personally, I would have liked the like boxer shorts more. But that's just because that style doesn't really do much for me personally. And it also and it also could be a case of like I'm just too attached to the old one.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, she doesn't have any canon underwear, so I just had to like come up with something in the first place. So I figured I might as well change it, and before I got any deeper.
Unlike the Danganronpa characters, there is no canon underwear.
Horsecat, I think you were speaking before.
Yeah, so I see that SPNanon's plan is already working. Instead of having people complain about the hair putting underwear midway through, you change the underwear so that people start complaining about the underwear, preferring the old shorts, as Nord just showed.
I understand there are people who might prefer the boy shorts, but for me, one, this is more appealing for me, and two, I think it just fits her better.
I do have one other thing I want to say now that you're showing the strip sequence here. The one with the robot, I think the underwear may be a little bit too oversized in that one. Like, is that supposed to be both the top and the underwear together, or?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, even so, I think the bra part may need to be a little bit smaller.
I kind of get what you mean. I made it that big because I wanted to make sure her crotch was covered up.
Yeah, and you can probably do that, but it's kind of like with Moon's Pokemon bra, where it looks gigantic for what's actually going on when she has it on. Well, Moon never shows it on, but more than what's actually covering, if you know what I mean.
I can kind of see it, yeah. If that's supposed to be like half of it draped over, it might be a bit too big.
Mm-hmm. It's nitpicking, but it could be something for if you would decide to retouch it in the future.
Yeah. Priorities and priorities and so forth. But do you think it looks nice overall? Do you think it was implemented well?
Yeah, as Nor says, it's also not quite my style, but I think you managed to make it look good. The color choice is good. It's close to her hair, but as you said, it's not exactly the same color, so it gives a little bit variety with there, which is nice. And I remember you mentioning at some point you did it to appeal to that guy that asked for more tongues, I believe. So Yeah,
Yeah.
more
I was
for that
about to
guy.
say. If you think your voice doesn't matter, there was this guy specifically on the general feedback poll, just some random anonymous responder who said that he has a thong fetish and he was disappointed when girls don't wear thongs, and he praised Jura for wearing a thong. And it's like, and that's what got me thinking. It's like, maybe I should probably wear a thong. So I hope he's listening. I hope he saw that post. I hope he plays with her, and she's now in his collection. Because I agree, it makes more sense for her to wear something revealing like that. And it's more appealing to me personally. I'm surprised there's so much boy shorts love. I'm outvoted here. Can't believe I just picked two random people and they both prefer the boy shorts.
It may be nostalgia. I've spent, what is it been, like 5 years, 6 years watching her with the boy shorts, so I'm used to it.
Again, I don't understand. Like, I've spent longer with that old model than anyone. I forgot about that bitch in a second. As soon as the new one came out. No regrets. Anyway, yeah. Look forward to underwear butt poses, cami style.
Those are always welcome.
I didn't really want to do them before I changed the underwear, but yeah.
More rear shots are always welcome, despite what that one poll guy says that we're overdoing the butt poses, apparently.
Speaking of butts, I also made this little doggy down pose, downward facing dog. Horsecat gave some opinions on it as well, but now she does this in her masturbating stage too. Anyway, that's enough for Meia for now. That's enough shilling. Nor, do you have anything to shill that you won't shill in just a second here?
Oh geez, I'm trying to think. I too will shill your Vandred girls though, because you're also like branching out into experimenting with like a bunch of non-standard poses. You have been for a while, admittedly, with your like drawn 3/4 from behind like head turns for butt poses, and you're also doing the like full side view poses as well, which after a certain point becomes less isekai art and more isekai is just being used to load my drawings in.
Yeah, just the limbs, basically.
I feel like that's sort of like the end point for most people who really pursue like SPNATIIIIIIII style art.
That's the cycle, right? You don't need any art skills to make a character. You just use Kisuke. Then you start getting good with Kisuke, and you start really pushing what it's capable of, and then you feel limited by it. So you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna become an artist.
No, like literally back when I made Petra's war outfit, I realized I need to stop waiting for other people to be able to help me out. I'm just gonna do it myself. And part of that was just hand drawing some image attachments for her. And now I've reached the point where I'm just fully drawing outfits and hair.
Yeah, such as models that you've made for me of Vandred girls, but maybe we'll show that next time.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I really like about SPNATI though, is that it feels like it's a scaffolded way to like that's why I think it's a good hobby, because it like genuinely can help you improve as an artist, but it gives you a starting point, and you sort of develop skills as you need them.
I was actually talking as well with a common friend that I'm helping with a project for SPNATIIIIII in the future as well. The amount of stuff I had to study as an artist just to do stuff for this game has been a lot. Like, this working for the game has helped me improve in a lot more ways than I would have expected. Like, when I came here, I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'm just gonna do this thing. It's gonna be its nice little side thing. And it's probably not going to take that much time when I was just doing Twilight. And then I've ended up learning more about posing facial expressions and even animation now with the epilogues, just by trying to do stuff for this game that I end up learning from my usual normal drawings.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to move on from shilling. Nora, do you want to take us in?
Yep, so first up is the Easter event lightning round. SPNanonintendent, I hope you're ready for mouth-watering bunny suits.
I thought we were having steamed Huns.
Oh no, I said steamed buns. That's what I call bunny suits.
You call bunny suits steamed buns.
Yes, It's a regional dialect.
What region?
Northern Ireland.
Really? Well, I'm from Belfast, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed buns.
Oh, not in Belfast. No, it's a Lisbon expression.
I see. You know, these bunny suits are quite similar to the ones they have in Gala.
Oh no. Patented Nord costumes. Old DevMod recipe.
For steamed buns.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed buns despite the fact that they are obviously scorched.
Yeah, you know, that one thing I should... Excuse me for 1 second.
Of course.
So, first up, we have the Easter event lightning round. Easter came quite a bit early this year. It's stacked back to back with the April Fool's event. And I think part of that is why we only have 2.5 costumes to talk about this time. So all of the costumes from previous years have obviously returned. The first one is Gloria's Skorbunny outfit. I would like to shout out Rinka Best Girl, aka Jetstream Joe, because they're the one that posted
the former host of the podcast way back when.
Indeed. He posted this in a SPNATI adjacent community, a community that heavily uses Kisake, and essentially I saw this Kisake model and was like, damn, can I please use this? He said, absolutely, sure. And so I very quickly, over the course of a few hours, crammed together her outfit. All I had to work with was the fully clothed version, but I feel like I've done a good job interpreting a strip order out of it. But please, let me know what you two think.
Yeah, I think it's a very neat little costume. It's my knowledge of actual Pokemon names is but I can recognize that as like the Fire Bunny Pokemon, like fighter, I believe, kind of thing. And it looks really nice on Gloria.
That's the origin of the steamed buns joke that we're making. It was serendipity. We'll just say that. But continue, Horsecat.
But yeah, I can recognize him as the guy, even if I don't do that much. And it's a nice little deviation from everyone just being regular bunny. I'm not that much of a fan of the band-aids covering the good stuff, or the leaf in the case of someone else a bit later on. But hey, it's bunny outfits. It's still good. People love the bunny outfits.
Yeah, I wonder if you could have done maybe an athletic tape kind of thing or something like that instead.
Maybe. Although it was both a time-limited thing and a limit of what Kisake has available by default.
I will say, Gloria remains just a super entertaining character. Sometimes you get characters that are trying to get your attention with every single line, but Gloria, just the way she talks, very naturally does that, even if she's not saying anything particularly interesting. And she's just always very entertaining to read in that regard. And she's obviously really into the game as well. She's a very fun, flirty, easygoing personality. I'd say she's better than the game she's from, but I actually haven't played Sword and Shield, so I can only speculate. I mean, it doesn't look good, but shit, man, it's kind of old news at this point. That's the thing with these gens, you know. When the hot new gen comes out, the immediate previous gen kind of gets shafted, no one cares. You want to talk about Gigantamaxing? Yeah, that's what I thought.
You just know if she was made back in 2018, there'd be a gag about, oh, I Gigantamaxed my breasts or something.
So you can say whatever you want about the gameplay, but the designs for the Pokemon trainers are always top notch.
Yeah,
but Pokemon gives us 30 new desirable characters every generation and never stops. There's characters from the newest DLC that I've seen requests for, or people being interested in making. Pokemon has DLC expansions now. And
none of them have any personality, but they are cute.
No.
My blank waifu generator also has a game included.
You had to give Gloria a personality.
They always have one personality trait added, and that's all they ever do every time you talk to them.
We haven't gotten any like Scarlet and Violet characters. I did see clips of the DLC, that one like MILF professor, the Blueberry or Bramble or whatever her name is, Briar Patch. She's hot. I like her. She looks like Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus.
Wasn't there like a model for like that one? I don't know these games, but is it like the teacher or the classmate, the one that has like the green stripe of hair?
Nimona, yes, I made that one. I think there's another model of her floating around somewhere as well.
Yeah, she's popular. We get a lot of requests for her, but no one's made her.
Yeah. This is sort of deviating from the Easter thing into Pokemon characters in general, but I would say that like as a first character, Pokemon characters are sort of a safe pick because they're always going to be popular, and you can sort of write them through feel alone. Like it's not like you have to read 2,000 pages of lore to make sure you're being like completely contextually correct with the character. You can just sort of write a Pokemon character from the, like just a basic state.
It's accessible, but you have to be careful that you're like kind of taking it in a good direction. That gives you a lot of possibilities.
Uh-huh.
I think we're ready to move on, right? Gloria, Skorbunny, very cute. Inspired a great bit. Who's up next?
The second new costume belongs to Senko, the helpful fox. This is Usagi-tsune.
Usagi-tsune. Usagi-tsune, as opposed to Kitsune. So Usagi is a rabbit.
Aha.
And yeah, that's why Sailor Moon is called Usagi. That's her name, because they say there's rabbits on the moon in Japan. That's why in every kind of like pop culture thing, there's always like rabbits living on the moon. You go in Final Fantasy IV, there's rabbits on the moon.
Huh.
So that sort of
Never
thing.
knew
Monster
that.
Carrot and Dragon Ball goes to the moon.
Never knew that.
I believe it was said this is the first character or costume that has both the animal ears and fake animal ears tag at the same time.
It wasn't enough for her to be a helpful fox. Now she's a helpful bunny.
A bunny that still keeps the fox.
I don't think this looks really inspired by anything, right? It's just an Easter costume.
Should we mention her other costume?
She's had a couple other costumes, but I should mention that I think this was done by Meiacation, who created Fluttershy and a number of other characters. Oh yeah, she has another costume that was like this tea time one with a fox mask. I believe it was just unlisted before, and now it's like it's going to become a sleepover costume. It's not an Easter one.
Indeed.
Both very cute though, but yeah, Meiacation took over for Senko. Horsecat, what do you think of her costumes?
I had not seen the other one, the sleeper one. I like that little cute little mask on top of it. But we're talking more about the Easter one, and yeah, it's a fox that puts fake bunny ears on top. How ironic. It's a nice costume. Again, the sleeves kind of look like her normal default costume. Whatever the traditional Japanese outfit looks, the colors are nice. It's another bunny costume, which is, again, pretty much what this event is all about. I like it.
Who are the characters that don't have bunny Easter costumes like Ayala? Is there anyone else?
I believe she's the only one.
Slight correction is that it was Nomlet that made the Easter costume.
My mistake.
Nomlet has made a lot of Kisuke models. He's contributed a few things to the game here and there, usually in the form of image attachments or model assistance. Although he did make Moski's entirely new model, her like current design. I think this is a very good costume. The Easter one specifically. It's an interesting like take on her usual design. Like I'm not sure if this is a reference to anything in particular, because sometimes the costumes are just entirely invented. Well, I guess for this event, all of them are.
they're always getting dressed up in bunny costumes. That seems to be a real thing in Japan. Must have taken off. Yeah, well, she did get a model update, but we'll talk about that when she hits main roster. Go sponsor her. She's not sponsored yet. We have one more costume to talk about, sort of.
I'm not done.
Maybe you can explain what's going on with her, Nord. I think you've been doing bug fixes for her anyway, right?
Well, I would like to slip in one more positive comment about Senko's costume. I like that she keeps the gloves on.
Oh yeah, silk hand jobs. That's a fetish.
Anyway, so this Mari costume, Mari Omori, it has been in the game for at least a year, because I remember it being offline last year. Faraway Vision is currently still soft retired from SPNATI. He's focusing on other things. And so this is like the one costume she has that was never finished, insofar as there were some issues with poses where the bunny ears would disappear, and she didn't have any dialogue checks for it. So, like, no dialogue for the costume, and some of her default dialogue conflicted with the fact of, like, yeah, she's wearing a bunny outfit now. Because I saw that people were playing it anyway, because you can now select offline costumes on SPNATI.net if you enable offline content. It meant it was getting played with a lot more anyway, and in the interest of bumping up this event so that there was, 3 costumes newly added, he gave me permission to fix it up and put it online. I've just basically done bug fixes related to costumes and tried to add my own Mari dialogue only for the sake of making her logically consistent. But overall, the costume itself is really good. Like, it's got very subtle or smooth shading. It stands out surprisingly well, I would say.
Yeah, ironically, the most traditional Playboy bunny type outfit out of the entire roster is the one that looks the fanciest because of all those little shading on the leggings and on the bunny suit itself. Really fancy. I really dig it. Yeah,
it's very well done. We have a user on the Discord who does this kind of shading all the time for his OC in various costumes. Puts out like a new one every day. It's Entropy, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a look that you can lean into and get some very nice results. It's very unlike the default flat Hisake shading.
I can feel the pain of posing all that shading for every single pose.
Oh, absolutely.
Just by looking at it.
Yeah, I can imagine it breaks easily. You gotta like center the gradient on her leg, probably. As someone who's not the biggest fan of like Mari just on a personal level, I did think it was kind of funny watching all those bug reports come in on what I guess were stripping lines where she just kept talking about clothes that she didn't have.
There's no chance of you looking up my skirt because I'm not wearing one.
All right. That's the Easter event.
And for
Praise
next,
the Lord.
there is one more thing, and that is one costume that did not make it because I couldn't fix it in time. It's the Pinky's Easter Bunny outfit. For next year, it'll be. I had a lot of stuff to do, sadly.
Well, hey, I mean, you can just upload it whenever and people can access it now, right? Online.
Is that how it works now?
I don't think people can select event costumes year-round on SPNATI.net. I think it's only offline content.
Fraud hosts, ill-prepared, don't know the ins and outs of the game. What we do know is that someone was added to the main roster, and we probably should have covered her last time, but we ran out of time. Nord, who was it?
Nonon Jakuzure. Hope I got that right.
From Kill la Kill.
A cutesy-looking pink-haired girl with a sharp tongue.
Already one of the slam dunk most popular characters in the game, I'd say.
Absolutely.
And with good reason.
People love her. I mean, Lockett's 2 for 2 on absolutely. He came in late and just absolutely took over the game with his little gremlins. She's massively popular, and she's. I mean, we heaped praise on her when she was first dropped on testing. She has all the same wonderful expressiveness and animation that Nagatoro does. And people even made fun of him for writing some similar lines about like pervy little game and all that. She's very antagonistic toward the player in the same way. So as usual, this is a main roster release. I'll try to keep my comments a little briefer, but Horsecat, what do you have to praise about Nonon? And is there indeed anything to criticize?
Well, not really. I mean, as you said, Lockett has made two really, really, really good characters, and even though I haven't seen Kill la Kill, like I love this character, like her attitude, her animations, as you said. Even the design. I love Nagatoro. I love the series. I have actually watched that one, but I just straight up prefer this design a lot more. She's a lot more cuter. And the animations during the strip sequence, during the forfeit, and even the freaking joined forfeit that she has with, I believe it's Leon. It's all top-notch stuff. She's definitely one of my favorites right now in the game.
She's just got like she even got like good like comedic timing, like with her hair flopping out.
I know Lockett like does a really good job with animations. As we saw like back when he added like extremely detailed animations during Nagatoro's epilogue, and that translates across to all of Nonon's poses where like it's just hilarious at every opportunity, like taking off her dress. I don't think we can even show this in video form, but like she just pulls it off.
I think it's a reference to the one episode of Kill la Kill like 4 where the animation was very limited, so it just slides off.
I was gonna say it feels like a SpongeBob gag.
Yeah. She's so good, and I've enjoyed targeting her as well, because it's the thing, like her writing's really good too. It's full of personality. I think you could. He's working on like improving her kind of, or directing her sexuality, like I said as well. I think that's coming along better. He said he got like a little burnt out when making her, but I hope he keeps up development in some aspects. Oh, I should praise, because he gave her he was one of the first to give her an aura camera pose with Meia's aura camera. Maybe I'll show the complete list at a later date, but I'm very grateful for everyone who's done an aura camera pose, and she did. Go play her right now. Who am I kidding? You already played with her. She's Nonon Jakuzure from Kill la Kill. Everybody knows. He even took over Ryuko to write some banter because I couldn't be bothered. Some people are all take and no give. I'm plenty give, but only with Meia. Anything else to say?
I'm struggling to find words for this that aren't just like great job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but, like really, there's nothing to really complain about. Targeting her has been fun as well.
Who's the model he's working on right now? He's working on another character, or at least he has a model. I'm not sure if he's making them. He posted one the other day.
Uzaki or Usaki or something.
That's right. The Sugoi Dekai girl, that one with the bowling ball head.
There were jokes made about how Lockett's finally making a gremlin with big boobs, and his response was, "The boobs scared me. I had to pick something that was, safe for me." Hence it being a gremlin.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest criticism of Nonon, was just being Pink Nagatoro, and I want to see what he could do with a different archetype. But hey, man, you do you.
No, the thing is,
clearly you found success.
The thing is, we can say that as a joke, but Nonon feels legitimately distinct from Nagatoro, in my opinion, which is like it's.
I'm being kind of cheeky when I say that.
Yeah, he's done a great job at like making the, like similar but absolutely distinct characters, like one after the other so far.
Plus, she has that whole exhibitionist thingy, because apparently that's a thing on their series where they're just naked, and she's just fine with it now. And that appeals very much to me.
Oh yeah, he's been talking about alt skins, right? Because a lot of people like the nudist beach outfit that she gets later on in the series.
My interest has been
Yeah,
piqued.
but then the problem there is how do you make it into an actual outfit? Because there's like two things.
She's just wearing a bunch of like ammo packs. A utility belt, that's her whole outfit.
Remove the ammo first, bullet by bullet.
Okay.
I hope he does add it, but I hope he also takes a well-deserved break.
I hope he slaves away endlessly for my benefit. There's one more character to talk about today. Nord, I think you might just be familiar with her. You could say she's been in your oven, on the back burner. You may have forgotten about her for a little bit as you did other things. I can't imagine what kind of negative consequences that could have.
Absolutely none. This is Rose from Plus Anima. She is just
Maybe you should explain what Plus Anima is.
So Rose is a confident young woman and peddler of accessories. She's also a cat plus anima, meaning she can show or hide cat-like traits at will. The simplest way I can explain Plus Anima is it's an early 2000s manga series that was relatively short. It focused on a group of 4 characters, none of whom were Rose. And a major thing of the series was that a bunch of, mostly children, some young adults, gain plus anima whenever they're put in mortal peril for one reason or another. Like, if you're drowning, you become a mer person. In Rose's case, we never find out what she went through, only that her parents aren't in the picture. Her aunt and uncle were supposed to look after her younger brother while she was out peddling, but they ended up turning her brother over to a bunch of soldiers because he has eidetic memory and could memorize castle layouts for military purposes. And so after Rose rescues her brother, she cheerfully declares, "He'll have to travel with me because we can't go back to our uncle's place." And that's the last we see of Rose after 4 chapters. So in an already short series, I chose a relatively minor character. But overall, I chose her because she represents the heart of the series, which is people who have been through trauma and are trying their best to hide it with a positive attitude and a supernatural ability to partially shapeshift into an animal. So please tell me what you two thought of Rose.
Horsecat?
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter if she's a small character or a big character. I love the design. I love the hair that she has. I love the outfit. I even like the little scars. I do have one thing I must say in the visual side of things that I'm a little bit not as convinced with, and that is the chest. The boobs have a little bit of an oval shape, you could say.
They're a little anti-gravity. Yeah.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. They would probably look like that if she was wearing a bra at that moment. If the bra was invisible, that's how they will look. But outside of that, really good work.
It kind of works for me, just for being unique. But yeah, it is a little bit weird. It looks like she's kind of resting them on a table. That's a fetish, right?
It must be. But outside of that, I love everything else. The nails look nice. The plus anima markings in the shoulders look really nice. You even went and did something that no one had ever done and gave her a flatter butt, which actually works because it's a unique niche that no one has done in the game yet. So it works for her.
It's always about.
What were you talking about?
It's always about the biggest butt and never what if someone just has a small one.
Oh yeah. Well, I told Nord before that was one of the biggest notes that I made. Tiny ass, massive L. I wrote.
No. Flat is just.
But apparently, I was going to complain about that, but apparently it was intentional.
Flat is justice even when it comes about the rear.
A true Irishman.
About her chest, I did just want to add that like with her, with Mia, and with Jenna, I was deliberately trying to do custom breasts that were in like a completely unique shape. Like obviously not, I'm trying to make them look good, but I'm also trying to make them look distinct from like. There's a certain technique to doing a custom chest that makes them all look a bit samey, and so I was deliberately trying to branch away from that. But I do appreciate the honesty if you think it doesn't work as well.
I think it works for me, but I could see other people having a problem with it.
Yeah, the main thing is, as Span said, it's a little bit anti-gravity. Like, they work even if you decide to leave them like that. But if you decide to retouch them, I know you'll do good. You did excellent. Like, for example, Mia has probably what are my favorite boobs in the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you say, they look really unique. And they're really good. But yeah, I love the design. Dialogue-wise, yeah, I perfectly get that she's like a vendor of accessories. She has less than 1,000 lines, so a little bit of repetition is expected, but I'm pretty sure you'll deal with that as well as you go on. And I have a pretty good first impression of her.
I think the issue with her boobs might be like compared to Mia's might be that like the curve kind of tapers off. It flattens out a little bit towards the outside edge. That might be worth looking into.
I get you.
Let's see. So Nord kind of blue-balled me on this one. I played a test game with her and I wrote some notes, but we didn't quite get to her last podcast. So he's just like, I'm not waiting a month to record another episode for you to tell me what you think, so just tell him now. So I told him basically my criticism so he could address them immediately. And they've already paid dividends. This one pose she has where she shows off her little box where she collected all 10 badges from Kanto like Gary Oak. That's her peddling her wares, which is something that I specifically asked for because she was always talking about how she was a peddler and how she was selling things. But I'm a big proponent of like visually communicating that in some way. I think that's what sort of like the upper level characters really do the best. You know, the standout on the roster is instead of just talking about it, they visually communicate it in some way, which obviously isn't easy, but you know, just holding a little box full of trinkets and things, that's not too hard.
And that was definitely a valid criticism, and it was something I sort of was like, yeah, I should probably do that at some point anyway.
Yeah, you can now just do a lot of shenanigans with that box.
I added a like game over condition where if Rouge is there, I think we'll talk about Rouge a little bit next episode. Rouge has a thing where she starts stealing treasures if the game goes on long enough, and so I added a little thing where if she has like fully like stolen all the things she wanted to get, Rose is like at the end of the game, hey, do you want to buy anything? Wait a minute, where's all my stuff gone? And opens the empty box.
Wouldn't she notice with her cat-like reflexes?
Good question.
A cat could beat a bat, right? Come on.
Well, she's not.
Blaze the cat could totally beat up Rouge. Come on, she's just Bizarro Sonic. Calling you out, Phonebox. That's what I really want to do is like a SPNATI power level discussion.
Oh Lord,
on a bonus episode.
That could only end in tragedy.
Well, we kind of did that already on the server years back. But anyway, let me go over a couple just like points of praise that I wrote down because those haven't really changed. She's so cute. She's got big expressive eyes, but like they're cat eyes. So she stands out in that way. Very nice job there with like the slit pupils. She kind of reminds me of like going to a town fair or something. She has this like sort of like dowdy, down to earth, very, very, very earthen vibe to her because she's like always out on the road and getting kind of dirty and tousled up. But she kind of wears it well. She has that sort of wild look about her. That's very fun. She's got like the rough and tumble image with like her kind of like cut up, scarred body. she can't take care of too well because she's on the road all the time. It's appealing in its own way. She's like very heavy on the tomboy in that sense, but she does kind of get embarrassed because she's not too used to other people in a sexual aspect. Let's see. Yeah, so she's got like a really unique body. You did like nice job with like shading around like the scars to make it look like kind of inflamed, but without like being unappealing. Obviously, you responded to the whole props thing very well. The drawn attachments that you do now, they're coming together nice. Some of them are a little like flat looking, like her pants. They don't really have a back, for example. I'm not sure what exactly is happening there. Like the pant legs don't have a back to them.
What do you mean?
Like you can't see the backs of her pant legs, like to form the complete circle, like around her ankle.
Oh, around her ankle. Okay.
You see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the criticisms is that she was basically just like a bit too happy, which in my newer test game with her, post improvements, it's still like kind of true. It was a little better though. She doesn't get mad too much, and her sexuality feels a little tame. I think you might need to kind of work out exactly what you want from her there. I suggested kind of getting more wild with her. It's tough to know, what she'd be into exactly. I guess she hasn't had much chance to explore it. But one line I noticed that was really nice is that she got a little coy. She mentioned, won't you take pity on a cute cat like me? Ooh, lean into that, man. Do something with that. Do some kitty cat play. I don't know. Give her some chin scritches. Get her to purr. That's what I mean. Like, that's your thing, Like, that's your 30-second elevator pitch is a girl that's also a cat. Fucking lean into that shit. Do that. Give her some milk to drink.
And you probably have the same advantage as the Pokemon trainers have. Like, if she doesn't have a lot of material, then you can just go wild with whatever you want to do with her.
Yeah.
Fill in the gaps.
Is that racist? Is that racist against Plus Anima to say, like, and to insinuate that she would want, like, balls of yarn or milk or whatever?
I need to add some sort of reaction to all these different things that Yumiko does, giving people cat ears. Because Rose would probably be like, I feel like I should be offended by this.
It's cultural appropriation.
Something I want to briefly touch on is that like Rose canonically has that scar on her back. There's like a Hot Springs chapter and everything, and she's like the only character that really gets fan service. Based on the fact that like it's an adventure of the week series for the protagonists, where like they get into a scrape everywhere they go, and like Rose points out, yeah, that happens to me too. Check out this scar. Like I just kind of ran with that like Plus Anima get into fights all the time, even if they're trying to be just left alone. And so that I give her more scars than is technically canon, but it was never deconfirmed by canon.
That's my main feedback, though, is to just lean into the cat thing with her sexuality. Just go for it.
Yeah,
Land on your feet.
I'll definitely lean into that in the like later stages of the game, because like she's, regardless of how the game goes, after a couple of rounds have passed, she'll be showing off the Plus Anima side, and she'll be like really like getting into it and relaxing.
Yeah, that's the one last thing I wanted to mention is that targeting her can be a little awkward because she has a whole mechanic where she doesn't reveal it right away because people tend to treat her badly for that, as I understand. Which I understand it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, because you do want to convey that aspect of the character in the setting, but also, like, for example, like Nami doesn't want you to know that she's a pirate. Yeah, she's a pretty older character at this point. She did that. Or Lucina has the mask on right away. Ping, move on. Those early reveals, they make it a little awkward because you have to like, do you have like entirely different targeted interactions for like if they don't lose for a while, or like what do? You sort of have to like wait for them to come around on it, but it's like it's hard to police like what incoming lines assume knowledge of, because someone can just be like, oh, you're a cat person right away, and you have to like either correct them or just roll with it. So it's hard to have that kind of reveal.
I understand. I if people struggle to target it, I'm always willing to like give advice, or I can roll with like a character figuring it out earlier than later. I did deliberately decide to do it different from Aqua's Keyblade, where she always reveals it in a specific stage, which is more convenient for targets. But with Rose, I wanted it to be a thing where she could reveal it if enough time passed and like things seemed okay. I didn't want to like entirely lock it behind a specific stage.
You're experienced enough to handle that, but I would not recommend it for a newer writer.
Yeah,
I would say just kind of leave it all out there at the start of the game.
yeah. For someone newer to making characters, I would definitely suggest if they have a big reveal like that, either tie it to a specific like early strip reveal, or just have it out in the open from the start of the game.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had to say. I have a feeling she'll make it to main roster. You have a pretty good track record with that. She's a very appealing, unfortunately obscure character, but I hope she gets some love from the player base because she's very nice. I like her. She's cute.
Very much indeed.
I believe that's all we have to cover for this episode, unless you and Horsecat have anything else you want to show or talk about. I appreciate you both coming on, as always. Do you have anything else?
My very last note for Rose is that even her hair is just hand drawn, because the Kisuke hair is one of those things where like you either have to just suck it up and do it for like 12 hours and then hope it looks good, or just do what I did and trace it from manga scans and tweak it a bit so it looks good in the front facing view and in the butt pop.
Honestly, it's clothes that I don't like making.
Yeah, I have to agree. The clothes, especially when you try to pose them, it's even more pain.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to pose the clothes.
Hair at least usually behaves when you rotate the head. That's another reason why short hair is king. Frees up her back and her butt, and also poses well in Kisuke. Should open with that line in a bar. Girl, you pose well in Kisuke.
I'm surprised you didn't tell me to make Rose's hair flip.
Now you're just giving him ideas.
I didn't immediately see any manga panels contradicting it. I will say my spider sense is going off, but I can't. There's no gifs of her. It didn't get an anime. So.
See, once she hits me in, that's when an anime company will announce that they're doing a like OVA series that like massively expands the world.
Isn't that a jostling that you would welcome, though?
I love this little niche series. I think everyone has a like one or two niche series that literally only they have heard about.
I can't relate. Horsecat, anything else you want to say?
Not in this case. Again, I really love what I've seen of Rose. I know she'll be getting better, and doing the hair by hand was worth it, because that's like the main thing that attracts my eye when I look at her right off the bat. It looks really good.
All right, so thanks everyone for coming on. Thanks everyone for listening. Enjoy the new characters. Testing characters, enjoy the Easter event costumes, check out the polls, all that good stuff. I, for one, am going to finish these delicious steamed buns.
Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. I'm pooped.
Yes, I should be. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
The end of this podcast.
The end of this podcast? At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of SPNATI, localized entirely within your voice chat.
Yes.
May I show it?
No.
SeyNord, the bot has expired.
No, Horsecat, it's just the Northern Irish.
Well, SeyNord, you are an odd fellow, but I must say, you steam a good bun.
Help! Help!